the acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has expressed confidence in the judiciary's upholding of the Constitution, despite what he says were attacks on judges. My colleague Tshegohaco Moagi was keeping an eye on that briefing, and she joins us now for a debrief, if you will. So the acting Chief Justice paying homage to Mogoeng. Mogoeng, what did he say specifically?
Absolutely, Dudu. Good afternoon. So the acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo really just thanking Chief Justice Mogoeng for his role that he played within the Constitutional Court and the role that he played within the judiciary, really. You'd remember that the Chief Justice retired on the 11th of October of this year. And there's been quite some unhappiness with some of the issues that he raised just before his retirement. But the acting Chief Justice really just saying that, Chief Justice Mogoeng really played his part. He did a sterling job in leading the judiciary. And just to mention some of the things, I just want to actually read what the acting Chief Justice actually had to say. He really said that he takes this opportunity to thank the Chief Justice Mogoeng on behalf of the judiciary for his great leadership of the judiciary over a period of 10 years. That's just some of the words that he said, thanking the Chief Justice for his leadership and the work that he has done within the judiciary. But let's take a closer listen to what acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo had to say during this report.
This report and the attendant culture of direct accountability is one of his many legacies. I take this opportunity to thank Chief Justice Mogoeng on behalf of the judiciary of this country for his great leadership of the judiciary over a period of 10 years. I thank him too for the enormous contribution he made during his term of office as Chief Justice to the building of a strong, independent, effective, and efficient judiciary. We have chosen today as our Judiciary Day.
So the acting Chief Justice also touched on issues of gender-based violence. What did we hear there?
Well, he really spent quite a lot of time speaking about gender-based violence. He started off by saying that every single year in August and during the 16 days of activism against the abuse of women and children, he said that, we are able to see that it seems as though there is an increase in gender-based violence cases. I mean, you often hear of more and more women being killed at the hands of allegedly their loved ones, especially during those two times. Of course, August being Women's Month, and then in November into December, we've got the 16 days of activism. And he says this is a worrying concern for him, especially with the judiciary and not just people within the judiciary. This is a worrying trend for them. And he's also said that, until women feel comfortable, until women feel free enough to walk the streets, until women feel free enough and that there's equality for women and children, that we will not be completely free as women within the country. But he did also stress the issue of implementing the measures that have been put in place to ensure that there is issues such as the Specialized Sexual Offences Courts. And he says that this will improve justice within South Africa, and it will also have the resources and protective measures for vulnerable people. But he says that this is not enough, that more definitely needs to be done to curb gender-based violence, and it is something that as a country we need to really deal with altogether. Let's take a listen.
The judiciary of South Africa will ensure, as it is required to by the Constitution, that where it deals with matters relating to gender-based violence, it does so in accordance with the Constitution and the law of the Republic. But the attitudes and views that create a culture that condones, normalizes, and justifies violence of any kind against women and children runs through the very fabric of South African society and culture.
So the Constitutional Court, though, has fallen short of its 70% target of finalizing matters. Why?
Indeed. So the big thing, of course, being COVID-19, Acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo really just speaking about the various courts, and not just the Con Court, about the targets that they set for themselves, that each court had set for themselves, some of them falling short, as you've mentioned, like the Con Court. And he did say that, COVID-19 really did really affect the work of the judiciary, and this is one of the reasons why the Con Court was not able to finalize all its matters. So he did also speak around issues around the divisions of the High Court. He also spoke about the magistrates and the Magistrates Court, and including the representation also of women within the judiciary, saying that, of course, even with that, more still needs to be done. But due to COVID-19 really having an impact not just on South Africans individually, but also seemingly on the judiciary as well. You remember that there was also that hack that took place earlier this year, and that also had an effect on the achievements that were, the targets that were set by the various courts, including the Con Court.
Tshegohaco Moagi, thank you.